All right, all right, all right.
All right, all right, all right. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Crown and Collards podcast, brought to you by the Coast of the Podcast Network. Check out all our other wonderful shows. Go to cspn.us or find us in the podcast app. Find us on Google Play. Find us on SoundCloud. Find us on Stitcher. Find us anywhere you listen to find podcasts. I even managed to pull us up in Music Bee, which is kind of awesome. I am Dan, aka Dan Chrism, aka still number one Miss Andrews, aka my team makes the Super Bowl and doesn't blow multiple score leads, aka
Is you finished or is you done?
dang. Okay, that's how we. All right. Okay.
I told y'all.
All right.
I
This
told y'all.
this, this why you wanted to run it this week, because you wanted to have the controls.
You're damn right. Damn right. Damn right. Two can play at this game, nigga, because you done did it to me before.
Yeah. See. Yeah. Uh huh. Didn't know it could go down like that, did you? Didn't know it could go down like that, did you?
Motherfucker. I still got the controls, motherfucker. All right, we're going to stop being petty and give y'all a show for real, for real. All right, run your AKAs back.
It's your boy Dan, aka Dan Chrism, aka Jamarcus, aka my team doesn't blow multiple score leads in the Super Bowl, aka good eye contact and firm handshakes, aka touch somebody's butt 2017.
And I am your other co-host, Jeremy, aka Black Dante, aka Issa Durag, aka It's My Birthday, aka My Block Hand is Still Heavy, Don't Try It, aka Stop White People 2017.
Yeah. So let's start with one white person who needs to be stopped. That's James Dolan, owner of the New York Knicks. Actually, before we jump into that, how you been, dude? Because we didn't do a show last week. Uh, we had a variety of reasons why that was the case. But we didn't get a show last week, so I think we owe the people about a week and a half worth of what you been up to. How's the new place going? All that type of happy shit.
Yeah, so the new place is like I love it. Like I ain't got shit in this motherfucker yet. But I love coming home and not having like the main thing about living with my relatives, and God knows I love them. But the most annoying thing about living with relatives is that it's not your house, so you can't control. You really don't have no control over than maybe what goes on in your room, but even still, it's not your house. So the main part is like not having to answer to nobody, being having peace in my damn house, having peace and quiet, doing whatever the fuck I want to do, drinking whenever the fuck I want to, not have to worry about somebody coming in to check on me to see if I'm still with us. And also no annoying ass cousin getting on me and my goddamn relatives' nerves. So the place is dope. Still, if you would like to donate to the United Negro College Fund, please CC my PayPal and Amazon wish list. Thank you very much.
Yes, please. Yeah. By the way, the good way to do that is all right. So Jeremy has his wish list posted on his timeline. I think it's your post. Your pinned tweet, right?
No. I want to make it my pin tweet, but just in case I get some coin from this Anchorite shit, I want to be let it known that I got this shit in his mind and I'm trying to copyright this shit. But
Well, put it in your bio or change your URL or something to it. And what I want y'all to do is go into your regular Amazon and click on his wish list, and then add him as a friend. So that way his wish list is saved in your list when you log in. And then I want you to close that window, open a new one, go to cspn.us, click Keep Our Podcast Free, scroll to Amazon. That's going to pull you right back to where you left off, basically. From there, you go to My Lists, scroll down, find Jeremy's list, buy him something off it, help us keep this show free, and help Jeremy get some shit in his house, because I don't want him looking like living like Tank. now and in the future. So
also, speaking of that, shout out to two of the most wonderful people I know, my friends Kim and Misha, for filling in for Dan for Ratchet recap episode yesterday. I hope you all enjoyed it, and those are two wonderful people. If you haven't already followed them, they are two of the people nearest and dearest to my heart, and I love them, and I just want to tell them thank you again for filling in, and also for y'all to go follow them and fuck with them because they are dope people. But other than that, yeah, man, like new places dope. Like I said, yeah, fuck with your boy and hit up the Amazon wish list, and yeah, that's about it. Work is, I literally get paid to tweet, like for real, for real. Speaking of that, Verizon, you motherfuckers got rid of our grandfathered ass unlimited data plans and forced us to switch over, and now you motherfuckers want to go back to unlimited. You rusty sons of bitches.
yeah, they see. So every phone company realized at the same damn time, oh shit, this unlimited stuff might not be the move. We should have had data caps on all along. Let's put some data caps in now. And then they let people grandfather their shit. But then what happened was when you got a new phone, they wasn't letting nobody grandfather nothing no more. And now they realizing, oh shit, people really kind of like that. We might need to bring that back.
Right. So you raggedy sons of bitches. Like, Gordon and Saram had a whole ass grandfather playing ass episode, and you raggedy motherfuckers, all of a sudden now you want to switch back. And when I saw it, my eyes lit up, but I'm like, wait, because there's got to be a catch to this shit. Like, am I gonna switch over this shit and I have unlimited data, but my bill gonna go up sky high even more than it already is? Like, is it Uchiwale or one mic, Verizon? Yes or no? But yeah, that's enough about me. And also, well, y'all will be hearing this after Valentine's Day, but happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Well, post Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's candy sale day. All the Valentine's candy half off. Happy half off day. And also thank you all for the birthday wishes. So what's been up with you, dude? You know I love you, but you know you annoyed me last week, but I still love
That's
you.
fine. So the only thing that's really up with me is I'm still basking in the fact that my team won its only Super Bowl appearance this century. Also, shit, just been bartending, just been trying to save my money and live like the Lil Dicky song. So
You back bartending?
I've been doing that. I ain't never going away. So
I thought you were just doing the Uber shit.
no, I'm doing both.
Okay, cool. All right, well that's what's up. We didn't talk much last week, and we ain't gonna go over that no more. But
Hey, why not? Why we can't talk about Brady firing them lasers down the field on 4 different occasions? Do it. Talk about Brady firing them lasers down the field on 4 different occasions.
see, this is why we can't have nice things, ladies and gentlemen.
It was like baby rap and still fly. Up and down and up they go.
All right, so moving on back to another white man.
Say,
James
man, y'all had 1st and 10 at the 22.
We have an obligation to our listeners, and I can't end this shit right now. So I'm going to be a professional and podcast through it because I want to cuss you smooth out right now.
See, this is what you don't realize about me. So let's take an example of most Spades shit. People tweet me stuff about most Spades, and I kind of ignore most of it now. One, because Twitter has stepped their block game way up from how it used to be. Like, he had me blocked, but he could see all the shit I used to write to him. And so now that he can't see the shit, I don't really say that much to him no more, or say that much about him no more. Yeah, I clowned him when he blew dunk in the finals because that shit was hilarious. But for the most part, I really don't say much about him no more. He is who he is. He can't rebound, and it just all right.
He also looks like a foot, so there's that.
Right, and he got that fucking reset button on the top of his head. But anyway, yeah. So again, like I still make most Spades jokes, but I don't make most Spades jokes. Like, you hear the difference in the way I said that. Like, he gonna get these jokes, but I ain't gonna go out my way to get him these jokes. This shit right here is still topically relevant. And so if I don't get the jokes now, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bank them. And the more I bank them, the more they come out down the line. Like, I don't even make that many Warriors Blue 3-1 lead in the finals jokes anymore. I still do sometimes, but I don't really need to needle them with that no more. It don't have the same effect because everybody does it, and it just is what it is. It's true. And so is the fact that your team had first to 10 basically in the red zone and wound up getting no points when 3 points even would have put the game out of reach. So the best course of action really is to let me punch myself out with the joke. It'll take a little while, it'll sting a little bit, but by the draft, I might be done with 25 related jokes. I might be done with first overtime loser in Super Bowl history jokes. I might be done. I might be done with second two-time Super Bowl loser in NFC South jokes. I might be done. I might not be, but I might be. So, again, the easy thing to do is to let me punch myself out. The hard thing to do is continue to fight me on it and just make me bank these jokes so I can just keep them fresh down the line. Now, with that said, how the hell y'all lost that goddamn lead?
Okay, so James Dolan. I will say this. I will say this, and I said it. I said it before on Twitter, and I said it again. I know jokes gonna fly, and I am not God, and I do not have the power to stop people from making jokes. Never said that whatsoever. What I specifically said was leave me alone. Don't at me about it. Make your jokes on your TL. I blocked at least 15 people, some of which I love dealing with fight over, including Dan. But I told y'all to leave me alone. That's all I said. Just leave me specifically alone. Some other Falcons fans can handle that shit better. That's fine. That's them. No problem with it. Go bother them. Leave me the hell alone. That's all I asked. And niggas couldn't do that. So my block hand been heavy ever since that shit. Still love y'all, but fuck y'all at the same time. That's all I ever said was leave me alone. That's all I ever said. Never said you couldn't make jokes. I know damn well I can't stop you from making jokes. I know jokes gonna fly. Never said that whatsoever. All I asked was leave me alone. Let me die in peace. That's all I ever said. Let me be dead on the inside in peace. That's all I ever asked. All right. Now, so James Dolan.
Dang, y'all had the draft loaded up, man. I'm so sorry.
Hmm?
I said y'all had the draft loaded up. I'm so sorry. No, I'm not. So James Dolan.
Yes, thank you. James Dolan in the midst what was lost in this, and we didn't talk about it last week because we didn't have a show last week, but we can still talk about it. So for those of you that listen to us who don't know a goddamn thing about sports and especially basketball, so there is a franchise in the NBA in the Eastern Conference who at one point in time was very relevant and was um uh, mm, powerhouse at one time. I think that's fair to say. I think that's fair to say. At one point, they were a cornerstone in the NBA in the Jordan era, in the golden days, so to say.
I'm gonna say
And
this:
that
the NBA is more fun when the Knicks are good. Continue.
yeah, it's like the Raiders in the NFL. The league is more fun when historic teams are good, and the Knicks are one of those historic teams. Now, if you have been living on the rock and again don't know shit about basketball or care about basketball, the Knicks for the latter part of I don't know maybe what 2 decades now, around that time have been pretty much a laughing stock. Um, and their owner is James Dolan. He is, for all intents and purposes, a mediocre white man. And then one of the most beloved Knicks is a man by the name of Charles Oakley. And not only is he a beloved Knick, but he is a beloved basketball player. Period. Because um,
Okay, let me give you this quote real quick from an anonymous NBA player who said, "It's a lot of tough dudes in the NBA, but Oak don't give a fuck."
Oak don't give not one solitary. Charles Oakley is like Charles Oakley is the living embodiment of "Here I Go" by Mystical. He is the living embodiment of that song. The phrase "Stay ready, you ain't got to get ready." Charles Oakley's phrase is "I'm always ready." He don't even have to stay ready. He lives in go mode. That's how he made his fame on the basketball. He was also a pretty decent basketball player, but he was most known. The term enforcer in basketball is a motherfucker that don't take no shit and is physical and will cut a motherfucker up for you. Charles Oakley invented that term. The term enforcer, if you look up the term enforcer in the dictionary, you will see a picture of Charles Oakley. So that's the kind of man that he is. But
Remember, he cut his teeth as Jordan's enforcer.
he he was Jordan's enforcer. Um, he's the guy that you want if in the zombie apocalypse. Charles Oakley is the person that you want on your team. So, but besides that, he's also a well-loved guy. He is a well-loved guy by fans, not just Knicks fans, NBA fans. Period, love him. He is a great, for all accounts, he's a great person. He's just that intense on the basketball court and off. Good person. He just don't take no shit. And he's had issues with the Knicks since he left and since he retired because of the way they've been run and the way, like I said, because they've pretty much been a laughing stock. So him and James Dolan don't see eye to eye. So last week, Charles Oakley goes to a Knicks game. I forgot who they played. Um, and basically he's a paying customer. He paid his ticket, went to the game, and security surrounded him and kicked him out.
No. Charles Oakley ran up on James Dolan's section, and as Bomani Jones reported, why am I echoing? Anyway, as Bomani Jones reported on
Much better.
the right time on Thursday afternoon, nobody in the Madison Square Garden security had a plan on how they was going to approach Oak. And so if it took six of them to run up on Oak to get him from around James Dolan. Ain't none of them dudes have a plan. So the dude who got fired for it was the security director. Now, he got a fired security
Which is
director.
fucking hilarious, by the way.
He got a fired security director, and apparently they've made amends such that Oak is now allowed back at MSG.
Now, the problem with this is one, James Dolan's ego is huge as fuck.
And he
That's
don't
number
talk to the media ever.
one. So what? I ain't catch that. Are we echoing?
I'm not no more. Are you?
It sounds like it on my end. Oh no, I ain't echoing no more. Okay.
All right, cool.
Um.
Little under the hood stuff here, y'all. This is
Right.
how we push through the episode.
Right. On the our podcasting, as we like to say in the business. Um. But the thing with James Dolan is like he. Okay, so one, he painted Oakley as he basically character defamated Charles Oakley. Like, and you know, it's not like Oakley is innocent, and I don't think anybody, including Oak, would say that he's innocent. Because I mean, he did run up on Dolan. He did. I mean, he wanted to talk to. He already stated he wanted to talk to Dolan.
Yeah.
But the way he went about it, like rolling up on him, that wasn't the right way to do
That
it.
pissed Dolan off because Charles Oakley is a large black dude, and
Right.
far
And
be
we
it for
all
anybody to ever sympathize with the large black dude, but a lot of the media actually has.
right. And that, which
It was
speaks to two things. Which speaks to two things. One, how beloved Charles Oakley is, and two, how much of a fuck nigga James Dolan is. Cause how do you not win the PR war when there's a large black man? How? How? How do you fuck that up? How? You are a white man. How do you fuck up? How do you in the media being a white man in a position of power fuck up losing the PR war to a large black man who, by the way, does not take no shit. He's not the he. You ain't going up against a nigga like Obama. You're going up against Charles fucking Oakley, and you lose the PR war. You piss off your fans who, in an interview, you said you don't give a fuck. This motherfucker said he doesn't give a fuck about the perception of the fans who give him money to watch this shitty ass team. He said, and then like I said, he character defamated Charles Oakley, saying that he's an abuser, saying that he has maybe has issues with alcohol, all this and then the third. And it's like, dude, you saying all this shit and you still losing the PR war because you can't win. Like it's like he took a crash course in like legal 101 and didn't pass the bar and is trying to go to court with Charles Oakley and he's not winning. Like he going up against Judge Matt. It's like he got a court date with in court with Charles and they going on Judge Mathis and he drunk right before he came into the courtroom.
Mm.
It's like, what the fuck are you doing? You are a white man. You should have this in the bag as far as PR goes. But again, that's how beloved Charles Oakley is, and that's how much of a fuck nigga and a horrible ass owner that James Dolan is. Nothing like his daddy. Because his daddy wasn't for this shit. And then, as to make matters worse, I think right before they stopped the ban, quote unquote, of Charles in the in Madison Square Garden, he invited other problem child black players to the arena. I think it was like Latrell Sprewell and shit. And that basically read like, oh look, I'm not targeting him because he's a black man. Look, I have black players that I allow in the arena. Like, nigga,
That don't work no more. What do you what? Like
the fuck? What kind of Donald Trump ass photo?
right.
The fuck are you doing, James? The fuck are you doing? But yeah, it just white people. Just again, say no to white people. 2017. Speaking of bad PR, so George Lopez.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
See, I don't really have the spoons for this, so let me go ahead and get my statement out the way real quick. It's been fuck George Lopez for a long time. This is not a new frontier for me. I understand it might be a new frontier for a lot of other folks, but that shit was so unbelievably unsaid. I mean, people say, "Oh, well, if the fan wants to get up and try to heckle, and they got to deal with that," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, sure, but he is the paid quote unquote professional in this
Right.
situation, and
This motherfucker is a
it's
professional.
it's his venue, well, not his venue, but it's his feature at the venue, and whether spoken or unspoken, there's a certain decorum the um that the people who are featuring are supposed to hold about themselves. It's the reason why Malice at the Palace was such a big deal, because that understood barrier. I don't know if you ever sat courtside at an NBA game. I've been pretty close to it, but even when them players like hurdle over, to try to save the ball or what have you, or errant pass gets tipped and the ball goes flying into the stands, those things are circumstantial and it's part of the game. It is not expected that players are just going to enter the stands. Now, I understand that was a particularly harebrained situation. A whole lot of weird shit was going down that night. But in a moment when Ron Artest got up off the bench and off the table and went and charged into the stands, and he was followed by a teammate, we saw that covenant get broken by guys we call professionals, and we saw how they were suspended for it.
Correct.
So back to George Lopez. Again, we've seen hecklers before. The shit in the NBA was totally unprecedented. We've seen hecklers before. We've, seen people get up and try to roast a comedian at a show, what have you. We know it. The shit used to happen on Comic View, and that's why a lot of them comics used to start bucking on people and ribbing them and shit. But yeah, you could rib somebody. You could bust on a dude's shirt or bust on the sneakers or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like calling people out their name, that's a pretty bold line to cross.
Yeah. Okay.
Period.
So
And then specifically to call a woman what he called her, it's just, again, like I said, it violates that decorum that, again, spoken or unspoken, is supposed to be understood by those who perform in these capacities.
yeah. So about this. So George Lopez, he had a. I mean, fuck it. If you listen to this show, you probably know. So the whole thing for me was it wasn't so much him or the situation itself. It was more so the people going through the mental gymnastics to say that they don't care that George Lopez got unreasonably irate and called that woman out her name.
Mm.
That's the part of it that got me. Because like, okay, so let's break it down a little bit. Okay, so he makes a joke, that it's two rules in the Latin house: don't be on my porch or whatever, and don't bring no black people home. It, that really didn't fuck with me that much because I've heard other people say that, other like Latin people say that. I even heard black people say that shit, and to a degree, like black people, I not obviously not all, but I've heard black people say, well, don't bring no white girls home, or don't bring no Mexicans home, or whatever. Like that's a thing where I think we don't take into account how much racism and segregation and how much of that is fucked with us. Not trying to get too deep with it, but like how segregated we still are in 2017, even in 2017. But it still didn't bother me that much. Even the woman getting up and flipping him the bird, that while I don't really fuck with people that heckle because I do kind of respect, the craft of being a comedian. it still didn't fuck with me that much, and it didn't fuck with me to the point where I'm like, well, yeah, I can see why he would, do what he did. That didn't bother me. What did bother me was seeing how black women were reasonably fucked with by it, and seeing people go through the mental gymnastics to basically say, y'all bitches tripping and y'all bitches sensitive and y'all should get the fuck over it. That's the part of the shit that bothered me. And
Right.
especially coming from niggas, because once again, niggas get mad when you make this comparison. But again, the shit always we always prove them right, prove it right. Or well, they always prove it right, being the white people or black people, because that was an irate emotional reaction from George Lopez. Well, one, he's a veteran comic. He should fucking know better. Number one. Number two, that on the scale of heckling, that wasn't even that bad.
No, not at all.
And then it came come to find out that the woman, one, she gave a statement saying she didn't flip him off in a I'm offended way. It was more like, it's kind of like, say I wasn't gonna talk about this, but it's kind of like when Dan makes a Falcons joke to me and I say fuck him. It's not a, fuck you and everything you stand for, and
Shit, last week it was.
Huh?
Shit, last week it was.
Yeah, last week it was. Yeah, and yeah, last week it was. But overall, in general, it's not a I wish, I wish it I wish your house fall on you. Fuck you. It's more like, okay, we both fans of rival teams, jokes gonna fly. Fuck you, but at the end of the day, it's just sports, and I will fight a motherfucker over you. That's kind of what her fuck you to George Lopez was like. It's a joke. I've heard it before. I'm laughing with you, not hissing at you. Keep on with the show. That's what it was from her take, from the statement she gave. And she said this shit like everybody is overreacting, and I'm not offended, so you should be offended. But which is her prerogative. But honestly, once it hits the internet, it's not about you anymore. It's about the action, it's about the interaction, and what people perceive and what people saw. And what people saw, not even on the context, was a seasoned comedian getting visceral with you over something that he didn't even know, that you weren't like saying fuck you, George Lopez, and go to hell and all this shit. He didn't even know that, which makes it even worse that he reacted like that. And again, what killed me and what got on my nerves was niggas opting out and basically saying like, you black women, y'all always, overreacting, y'all always sensitive, because that was a visceral reaction. You know who also had a visceral reaction? Um, Michael Richards, Kramer, when he was calling motherfuckers that heckled, and actually heckled worse than that woman. Um, heckled him worse than that woman, and he called niggas nigger, and went on this fucking tirade, and motherfuckers didn't have none of these goddamn, well, he's a comedian, what you expect, and all this, that, and third. Now I know, Kramer, Michael Richards isn't a seasoned comedian and veteran comedian like George Lopez, but the point being, it was a understood, even if you understood the craft of comedy and how hecklers can get under your skin, it was a understood, this is fucked up. He crossed the line. Even if I respect comics, or even if I'm a comedian myself, that's fucked up, and I see why people are mad about it. Black men and black women, everybody, we saw how fucked up that was. Come to this shit, and it's all kind of mental gymnastics and hurdles to basically say you don't care that he got mad and called this woman out her name, and you shouldn't be either. And it's funny again seeing niggas do that because it again we opt out of caring about shit when it's a black woman or a black LGBT person. You can't separate that shit. Like if that had that been a nigga or a black man, wouldn't be no damn mental hurdles or these well what about George, he's a comedian, it wouldn't be none of that shit. And you a fucking liar if you say it would have. Like, it's not. You just don't want to care about that shit because it happened to a black woman. And then with her saying that she didn't care, I didn't see it on TL because I wasn't on, but I'm pretty sure that was see, y'all took up that cross and she didn't even care. Motherfucker's not about her. It's about the fact that other black women, this is a pattern that happens with black women a lot, that people just call them out their name and say all this, that, and the third, and nobody gives a fuck and nobody cares. And because motherfuckers are making the logic, the fucking hurdle of saying, well, y'all listen to bitch and rap music, but y'all get mad at George Lopez. Motherfucker, you sound exactly like fucking white people. Like with the
So you saw that meme too then?
No, I didn't. What meme?
It was a meme that said exactly that.
Oh,
It said, it had George Lopez shouting at the woman, and it had a picture of I can't remember what rap video it was, and it said, "But this is okay to be called this in your music," and it's like, all right, so this woman was being spoken to like directly. It was George Lopez to her saying, "Hey, this is what you are." But some dudes in the studio making a song or what have you, he's probably not talking about like a woman that you or I may know. So that's the first difference. And secondly, a lot of the music people consume these days, we don't really listen to the words that much, and people complain about that. But if it's a song that people go and dance to, yeah, they probably not worried about the words.
If the beats, in the words of Chris Rock, if the beats are right, she would dance all night, and that's men and women. People like, if it's a bop, people gonna bop. You know what I mean? Like, that just is what it is. But it's that again, it's that mental hurt of them mental gymnastics. Because because you know what that sounds like. That sounds a lot like, well, black people. Well, what about black on black crime? That's exactly what that shit sounds like. And it's motherfuckers. It's motherfuckers jumping to the hurdle in defense of George Lopez, and not even with the woman, but again, like the fact that multiple black women, had a problem with this nigga doing this shit, and instead of being like, well, I see how that's fucked up. I see why that's, I can see why that would upset you. It's motherfuckers just jump to literally leap to the defense of George Lopez to try to silence black women's feelings on the shit, knowing full and goddamn well, had the roles been reversed, more, it's not even a question that black women would have been the first to say, "Oh, fuck George Lopez, cancel George Lopez, fuck this nigga." You a fucking liar if you refute that, you're a fucking liar. Like, you are a motherfucking liar. You know good and fucking well, had the roles been reversed and George Lopez said this shit to a nigga, black women overwhelmingly would have been like, fuck this nigga. And niggas know that, but it's just that opting out of caring about shit that doesn't necessarily affect you, but affects people that look like you. Like, because you know the visceral reaction black women have to being called a bitch, to specifically to their faces. Like, it feeds into that whole, angry black woman trope that we really need to get the fuck rid of. It feeds into that shit, and niggas know that, or they know that, but they just don't care, and they just want to opt out when they can, which is fine. But, well, not really fine, but you know what I mean. But when people say shit like, well, this is why straight black men or the white people or black people don't act surprised when people say that shit, because it's this kind of shit, it's this kind of opting out and just flat out dismissing the feelings of black women on shit like this that makes people say shit like that. So, that it just, again, it wasn't so much George Lopez himself for me. It was just motherfuckers going to the logical, the hypocrisy playoffs to try to silence black women for daring to feel a way about this motherfucker calling another black woman, whether she cares about being called one or not. Jumping to the defense of this motherfucker that was berating and calling a black woman a bitch, that black women can identify and share that experience of, motherfuckers disrespecting them, calling them out their name, and them having a reaction to that shit and not being okay with it, and niggas just jumping up in droves to defend this motherfucker. That's the shit that pissed me off.
Yeah, that's the real annoying part. Like, I mean, you said it. Like, it just seems like every time something happens, whether it's I completely spaced just now. But it just seems like no matter which woman it is that's being attacked in, you know what I'm saying, in the public eye, whether it's Leslie Jones or Serena Williams or, this random woman who isn't even famous, like, it seems like the response is always the same, and it's always the same garbage response that no one needs and doesn't help anything.
It never fails. Like, the shit is clockwork, and that's sad. Like, I don't want to be right about the shit. It's not like I'm, hanging this on a hat where, like, I'm better than you niggas, because,
No,
like,
I really would have just loved to never have this conversation again, to be perfectly honest.
to be quite honest, but again,
it's not. I'm not going to have this conversation because I'm going to avoid it. It's going to be I'm going to not have this conversation because the next time the situation comes up, we're going to handle it better. And the next time it comes up, we're going to handle it even better. And the next time it comes up after that, we're going to handle it even better. And eventually what's going to happen is people is going to stand down because they're going to see that we're defending these women. They can see we standing up for these women. And they're going to stop popping off smart at the mouth to goddamn begin with.
one can hope. Like, one can hope. It's just for once, I would love for niggas to just prove me wrong. Just prove me wrong. Just prove me wrong. Don't jump in front of this bullet to defend this nigga. Just prove me wrong. Just once, I would just like for niggas to prove me wrong. Just prove me wrong. Prove to me that we aren't the white people or black people. Just prove me wrong once. That's all I ask. Just prove me wrong once. It probably ain't gonna happen, but a motherfucker can dream. Shit.
Mm.
Ugh. Just niggas.
Anyway, let's take a quick break and plug some sponsors of this show. We plugged Amazon at the top of the show to get Jeremy some furnishings for his house. Also, remember, you can go to skullcandy.com and get free standard shipping on all headphones by going to cspn.us. Rolling down to Keep Our Podcast Free, rolling down to Skull Candy, clicking through from there, doing your shopping. We also still have the deals with BustedTees.com. We have AdamEveToys.com. We have Audible.com as well. I know fly-off season is fast approaching, and you might want to listen to your book on the plane because you don't feel like thumbing through a book. So get that Audible trial popping and check it out.
100. And all this.
Yes, and of course we have the good old AdamEveToys.com link, where it's Valentine's Day tonight. So I don't know, maybe you're raising the bar a little bit, and the problem with raising the bar is you got to meet where you raise it to going forward. So go to AdamEveToys.com. Pick you out a little toy with your special friend, and save 50% on the purchase of that toy by using the code OTOY.
Mm-hmm.
You click through to AdamEveToys.com via CSPN.us, part of the Keep Our Podcast Free campaign. Help us out, keep these shows free, because I know you don't want to listen to Jeremy sounding like old boiled car parts, and I know y'all want to hit us this buttery New Orleans accent for free. So yeah, do that for your boys. Help us out, keep the shit cool, and help keep our shows free. So that's that. Back to the show.
All right. We about to get up out of here. But since we didn't do show last week, we have We got a Bring It Back.
Woo.
And we are going to bring back an icon, a legend. She released her debut album on this day, at this hour, February 14th, 1985. We are bringing back Whitney Houston's self-titled debut album for Bring It Back. Rest in peace to Nippy. Whitney.
Bobby, this is some bullshit, Bobby.
Look.
What are we doing here, Bobby?
Look. I done made too much money to ever smoke crack. Crack is whack. Crap is cheap. Meanwhile, on being Bobby Brown. Top 5 greatest reality TV shows of all time.
I can agree to that, and I don't even watch reality TV like talking about it, so that ought to tell y'all something.
Yes, but we are bringing back Whitney Houston's self-titled debut album. Whitney, this introduced the world on a global scale to The Voice. The Voice. At the time when Whitney debuted, like she was the range. You know, for all the people that, you know, make the joke about who does or doesn't have the range on Twitter, Whitney was the range.
Mm.
She was the range. She was the voice. She was the range. She was the one. And it showed on this album. The vocals on this album, outstanding. She sung down on every single last one of these damn songs.
Bro, she was 21 years old.
21.
Let's not lose sight of that. Like she was 21. I think a lot of these songs were recorded when she was actually 20. I don't remember exactly what the recording timeline was on it, but yeah, it's 20 to 21 range. Certainly for writing and then, you know, doing the performance and actually having an album released.
Yeah. Like back then, like this is not to shit on, you know, this is not a get off my lawn ass moment. But man, like back then, like motherfuckers were king. Like
yes.
Motherfuckers were king. Clive Davis, nigga. Clive knew. But just going on the track list and just showing Whitney's range, like the tracks for this album. Damn, I just had to pull it up and then okay, there it goes. Like You Give Good Love, Saving All My Love for You, How Will I Know, The Greatest Love of All, and those are just the singles. Like
right.
The deeper cuts on it, like All at Once. The
Nobody Loves Me Like You Do.
Yes, the duet with Teddy P. Hold Me, like
yes,
nigga, like
yo, and Teddy, whoo, boy, that was peak Teddy at that fucking time.
Peak Teddy. That was prime. That was LeBron James in the finals. Teddy, like the voices of that generation. The voices, you know, like just You Give Good Love, the greatest song about good dick ever invented, ever. Saving All My Love for You, probably one of the greatest side chick anthems ever. Whitney saw that shit and she was completely happy with being last on a married ass man's list, long as the dick was good. Goddamn. And sung this shit so beautifully. Just damn, Whitney. Just damn. Like she sung it so good. She sung it so good. The first time you hear it, you forget that she talking about fucking a married nigga. Like that's how good she sung it. That you almost forgot. Oh shit, she talking about fucking somebody that already got a wife. Shit. The Greatest Love of All, like they still like I don't know if they do it now, but I know when I was in school, like they were still singing that at graduations and shit. Just how will I know? Low key is a bop. Low key is kind of low key is a bop. Um,
I ain't low key a bop. How will I know is like
that tempo, man. That tempo.
so that's a song where like if you got a group of homegirls and y'all all going out to karaoke and Miss Company or whatever, all the girls gotta do How Will I Know together.
Yes.
It's that kind of song.
Yes. It's yes. I agree. Yes. Um, but yeah, man, and like I know this was, before my time, quote unquote, but I would, this shit I was raised on, so like I know it, I remember like going out to my grandma's house and like after church, was fucking hilarious, playing this shit after church, but especially here in the deep south, but she would play this shit like after church and stuff, and Whitney, Teddy, Isley Brothers, so this is it's before my time, but like I know the shit, like it's stuff that I was put on as a youngin, and like I know it, and so like just revisiting it now with trained ears, is you have a even deeper appreciation for it than you already have, or at least I do. Uh, so like, what are your favorite songs on this album, man?
Let's see. Favorites. See, it's kind of hard to pick favorites on a 10
I mean,
song
saying yes is
album.
perfectly fine.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give you 3. Saving All My Love for You is like I love the arrangement of that song so much. Like
Yes.
every piece of that song was like written like specifically for Whitney. Like there's not another. I don't think there's a second person like north of Minnie Riperton who could have sang that song. And
Yeah.
I'm even second guessing Minnie, which I never do.
I think Minnie could have did it. I think it's not Minnie, but I think Minnie, like Minnie, she had that range too.
Minnie is my like premier answer to the who would you bring back for one concert if which dead musician all time or singer whatever would you bring back for a concert? People throw out Michael Jackson, they throw out Prince, and they throw out you know Marley and Jimmy and Janice and so many people, man. But Minnie Riperton is my number one answer to that question for all time. And Minnie might be the only other person who could have sang this song. That's how much this is like the quintessential Whitney song. Um, Second, I'm gonna go with "Take Good Care of My Heart." Again, another song I just like how it was put together.
Yeah, Jermaine was pretty good on it too.
Mm. And then third, what am I gonna go with third? I'm gonna go with "Saving All My Love for You" again. Third. No, I'm gonna go with that closer. I'm gonna go with "Hold Me" with the Teddy P staying in because I mean we talking like I said that in the discussion just then. We talking prime Teddy. So
Yeah,
like
turn him off.
just after the accident, but prime Teddy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can rock with that. I can definitely rock with that. For me, it's really it's hard because there's no real like wrong answer. like, but for me, I would say in no particular order. How will I know? Because that's just that's like that's the turn up song of the album. Like that
Okay.
that's the bop. That's the turn up song of the album.
Dig it.
Just the tempo, the cadence of that song, everything, and of course, again, the voice. Love it. So again, and these are in no particular order. So how will I know?
Yeah, it's tough. As I said, man, with 10 songs, it's hard
Because I'm
to.
leaning towards Hold Me. I'm leaning towards Hold Me.
Hey, do what feels right. I always say, you know that.
Yeah, fuck it, I gotta go. How will I know? Hold Me, and then You Give Good Love. Just like that. like I said, that arrangement, those vocals, like you could play "Give Good Love" today, today, and it will still sound the same as it did when it debuted, and it will still sound good. It still aged gratefully, and with all of the situationships in today's climate, it will fit perfectly with the dating climate of today. It will fit perfectly because again, it's probably the greatest ballad about dick ever. Like no less than top 5, top 3. Fuck it, top 3. No less than top 3. So yeah, that's my 3. You Give Good Love, Hold Me, and How Will I Know. So as always, we do these bring it backs to relive albums that were near and dear to us, and even learn some stuff. Learn some stuff that was maybe a little before our time, or we didn't. Maybe some stuff, relearn some things we forgot, and just have that sense of nostalgia and good feelings that we did when we were younger. And I think we need more of that. We need more of, more joy, especially in the current state of the United States of America. But yeah, so when you have time, revisit Whitney Houston, Whitney Hutton, as some people
Whitney
will
Hutton.
call her. Revisit her self-titled debut album.
You can't spell, Gina.
Which debuted today, February 14th, 1985. All right. So
we can call that a wrap. That's plenty crown and plenty college for one night. Thank y'all for listening. Final note: happy birthday to this nigga slash motherfucker on the show with me.
Thank you.
God damn, what 26 now?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, yeah. Nigga. 26, 25 going on 55.
Touche, nigga. Touche.
Once right,
again, oh, you got any church announcements?
No, man, that was really it. Just wanted to give you that birthday shout out, and I can't think of nothing else really that.
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
As always, like I said, thank you all for the birthday wishes. Hit that Amazon link. I'm gonna find a way to shorten my bio and put that shit in my Amazon link, or I'll send it to Classic and he can put it in the show notes. Also, I will be on scheduled to be on the Black Guy Who Tips with Rod and Karen tomorrow to recap The Walking Dead and to kick it with the podcast Mother and Father, and one of my favorite podcasts, and I would definitely have a blast and give Dan and the whole CSPN a shout out and represent.
Yes, and that in mind, yeah, check out all our other lovely, wonderful shows. Again, do the shopping, keep us free. Hit us up on the timeline. Review us. We like getting the reviews. It feels good. It keeps us going. Keeps us stirring the drink, Al Roker style, So
that's right. We will read any reviews you guys give us. So rate us, share us, love us, and if Dan doesn't have anything else to add, this has been Collards episode 109, and we out here.
Peace.
100.